He says, oh, I want to talk to other countries, but actually continues the encircling of Russia and other nations. And he's moving ahead with his cyberbullying bill that if somebody says that you hurt their feelings, that then you get a federal felony for what you say.
I'm computer illiterate, so that you're going off into places into Star Trek for me, Alex.
No, I understand that, Governor, but the point is that I'm telling you, Barack Obama, going with your earlier instincts of saying he's already fudging, I'm telling you, this guy says one thing and does another.
Well, let's remember something. He's still just a Democrat. Always remember that. And there are them and the Republicans. They control the whole game, and they don't allow anyone else into the game. And so bear that in mind as to, if, like on the whole torture issue, the reason they want to move on is because they're both caught. And so even if the Democrats didn't order the torture, they knew it was going on and they condoned it, which is just as bad.
Yeah, let's finish up.
That's why they want to move on. I know you got to go to break. I hear the music.
Yeah, let's finish up with torture when we come back, then take phone calls, get into a host of other issues with Governor Jesse Ventura.
You're listening to GCN, the world leader in independent talk radio.
Okay, Jesse Ventura is our guest. Got about 45 minutes left with him, and I want to go to your phone calls. I've got a million questions I want to ask, but I know you probably got better questions than I. I'm always amazed by how great the listeners' questions are. Governor, during the break, we were talking about torture again. Torture's on your mind. And in my film, the first 9/11 film that was put out back in 2002, 9/11 The Road to Tyranny, I show the Washington Post headline where it says, we're torturing their children. We're interrogating, putting pressure on people's children to make them answer questions. And then with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and others, they admit they threatened his kids. And then now General Tagumbu's own Army report, U.S. Army, MSNBC headline. In fact, pull that up, folks. Army report, children raped. Cy Hirsch of New Yorker magazine. They've confirmed that they torture people's children in front of them. So, as you were saying, it's light years ahead of just Guantanamo Bay and insects and sleep deprivation and waterboarding.
Alex, I would do this on my own dime. I would go out, like they say, they won't release these photographs to the public. I would go out there and will they let me go in and see them?
Well, I remember a week and a half ago, you first broke that here on air that you would do that.
I would love to go out there and to bring me to a room where these photographs are that none of us are being allowed to see, because I think I'm qualified. I was a mayor. I was a governor. When I was in the Navy, I had a top secret security clearance. So I think I'm 57 years old, going on 58. I think that I'm an adult. And I think that as a tax-paying citizen, that I should have the right to be able to walk in there, view these photographs that, we can't put out because we don't want them splattered all over every newspaper in America to get the Muslim world that much more angry at us, which the bottom line, of course, is if we hadn't have behaved in this manner, we wouldn't have to worry about this, would we, Alex?
I was about to say, that's like saying we can't show the Nazi or Soviet atrocities because it might anger the world. We have to show this so that it doesn't continue to happen. But that's the whole issue, is they have to be released because the neocons and others are still out there defending all of this, and Obama does doublespeak.
Well, let's start and chip away at it. Let's see if we can get me out there to see them. You trust me, don't you?
Yes, Jesse, I think you should.
Well, then let's go from that route and say, okay, since the general public, we should be able to send a couple representatives from the general public.
I agree. Let's send Ron Paul, too.
Well, but Ron's still elected. Let's send two people who are not elected, a couple of people that are just regular citizens.
Well, I know this, man.
Who can go out there, take us into the room. I promise I won't throw up. I have a pretty strong stomach, if it's that bad. And, let me go in and view these, and when I come out, I'll come on your show and anybody else's show and hold a press conference and state unequivocally, is there a problem here?
Well, Mancow, a talk show host that we interview, is coming on tomorrow. He was waterboarded last week and lasted 6 seconds. They say the average person lasts 18 seconds. You've been waterboarded.
Yes. Oh, I laughed. I saw Mancow's thing on the internet. My wife brought it up, and I loved it. I mean, I didn't love it that he was waterboarded. I love the fact that he had the courage. He took the position that waterboarding was, we should allow him to do it because it's saving lives and it does this and it does that, which is not true, because any information you get from somebody being tortured is not, good information. It's not sound. They're going to say whatever it is they have to say to stop the torture. And Mancow got waterboarded. He wasn't strapped down. They should have did it the way they did it to us. You were strapped down, your arms and legs, your head was put in where you couldn't move it, and generally somebody dropped a knee into your stomach so you couldn't get a breath of air. Then they start waterboarding you. Well, he was allowed to just lay there. They started to waterboard him. He could break it off anytime he felt like it. He lasted 6 whole seconds. And it took him about 3 or 4 minutes to compose himself. And when he did, he said that it was 20 times worse than what he ever imagined it to be. And he definitely said it was torture.
Jesse, I've got the answer. If you want to get publicity on this torture, this would be huge. You need, and we could hire the crew, even come up to Minnesota and have the news there do it, have you waterboarded to show people and challenge media people.
I've been waterboarded. I'm not getting waterboarded.
No, I know. Okay, then you can do the waterboard.
I don't need it. I don't, look at Alex, I went through BUDS, Basic Underwater Demolition SEAL Training. A friend of mine just emailed me who likewise went to a different SEER school than I did, and he said it was torture. He also went through BUDS. He was class 56, I was class 58. We served together overseas. If two guys who went through Navy SEAL training are telling you that it's torture, isn't that believable enough?
Well, everybody knows it's torture, but that's the issue of these control freaks. Like Karl Rove told the news media years ago that he controls reality, that they are history's actors. They are saying here, no, it's not torture, and it's okay if we do it to non-citizens, but the Military Commissions Act and the Enemy Combatant Act states they can secretly strip a U.S. citizen of their rights and then do it to us. Remember, they swore the Patriot Act wouldn't be used against U.S. citizens, and now they admit that every state has used it thousands and thousands of times. But going back, Jesse, because I've got to get this question out to you. I'm saying you're angry about torture. I'm angry about it. You ought to challenge all these media people that have been promoting it as a good idea and not as torture. You ought to challenge them to go on national television and that you would waterboard them. That was the point. You can do it.
I would not waterboard them because I'm not a professional. What you need to do is get one of these SEER school instructors to do it.
Okay, what have I called Mancow? What have I called?
I've only been the recipient of it. I would not want.
Okay.
I would not want to be the one doing it because I'm not trained to do.
Okay, but then listen.
Wait, when they did it to all of us in SEER, there was a doctor right there. So for them to say that this is not dangerous is a lie. Because how do you know what the person's heart condition is like? Are they giving them physicals before they do it to them?
I agree with you, but I mean, going further.
Like when I said that Dick Cheney, I could get him to confess to the Sharon Tate murders, I don't believe that anymore because I thought about it and realized Cheney's got that weak heart to begin with. He would never last it. I don't think it would kill him. And that's the point. Whether when they're doing this to people, they haven't even charged them with a crime. And yet we're torturing them supposedly to get information from them. That's what the Nazis did. That's what, and now we're doing it. Well, then again, we invade countries now, don't we?
But that's the point I'm trying to make is a challenge. You could MC it, fine, because I couldn't get the attention to be able to do this. What about having an event where you challenge all these media whores that have been on air, there's dozens of them, saying that it isn't torture, where you publicly go on the air on all these stations you're going on, and then challenge them, and then have them come and get waterboarded. They'd all give up in 15, 20 seconds. They would all admit, yes, it's torture, and then you would have proven the point. We need to prove.
You know what? I'd rather do it with our head government officials who really can make the change. Doing it to media people like Hannity and people like that, all that's going to do is build their ratings and help for their nonsense positions. I would rather do it I'd rather get in and see the photos, Alex, and be able to come out and report to the general people what I saw.
Well, let me tell you what the Army saw. And guys, pull it up on screen. Have you seen the Army report? It's almost gotten no attention. MSNBC, New Yorker Magazine, 3 years ago reported on it. The Army's own report admits they tortured children by design, including sodomizing them in front of their parents.
Well, I find that, that's another charge that I would have to see to believe. I've got to see it.
I tell you what,
if there's photographs of this, I'm old enough. I've seen enough in my life. I can take it. I won't lose sleep over it. Hopefully. And,
okay, here it is, Jesse. I mean, right now we're
and I'm not doubting you, Alex. But again, I got to go. I want to go see this stuff.
I fully understand. I think it's a good idea. People should call Obama and tell him, let you in there to see him. But Congress has been allowed to see this, and they said it included children being raped.